Welcome to Accounting 470, Auditing. I hope you'll have an enjoyable class. I wanted to take some time today to review the syllabus together. So if you'd get a copy of the syllabus out, we'll go over class requirements. Okay, so this is Accounting 470. You should have all had at least Intermediate 1. Okay, first intermediate class before you take this class. But if you have Intermediate 2, but Intermediate 1 will do the trick. My name is Steve Hall, Professor Steve Hall. I have a PhD I got from the University of Utah in the year 2000. PhD in Business Administration with an emphasis in accounting and a minor in finance and quantitative methods. I got my CPA license in 1984, so it's been a long time since I took the exam. If you need to contact me, I will log on to the class almost every day, and I should say almost every business day. So there'll be Saturdays and Sundays when I don't get to it. The discussion forum is the best place to ask most questions. So in a real life class, if you ask a question, all the other students would hear it. In this class, it'll be best as well. If you'll ask the question in the discussion forum, then all the other students can hear the question as well. If you need to contact me outside the discussion forum, and you can, I'd rather that you do all the questions you can in the discussion forum. If there are a few you can't, contact me outside. You can do it by email. And I check my email almost every business day again, only several times. If you really need to call me, you can call me. I'm in the office every week, but I don't check my voicemail as often as I check the email. So email is a more short way to get a hold of me. And when you contact me, I'll answer any questions you have about the class, and I'll clarify concepts. I won't try to teach you over the telephone, and I won't try to teach you much by email. If you really need one-on-one or face-to-face contact, this is not the class to take. We're also offering this class face-to-face this semester. If you need face-to-face contact, if you need one-on-one, if you need to be able to be in the same room, that's the forum in which to take the class. This class will be more online learning, watching lectures, discussing the concepts with other students, with me interfering from time to time if you seem to get off track, and that's the platform we use. Okay, I hope you do contact me when you have questions. I'm not trying to discourage it. I just want you to do it through the discussion forum as much as you can. I want you to get as much help from other students as much as you can. You'll get a lot better learning that way than if you just ask me questions and have me give you answers, which I probably won't do anyway. Okay, the required material is the auditing textbook. That's all you'll need. Someone might try to sell you more stuff. If you'll read that accounting textbook and do the assignments I give you, that will really be enough. Hopefully by the time we're done, you'll have a good appreciation of what auditing is and how it works. We also then have an advanced auditing class, which is a semester-long case in which we'll actually do a simulated audit of a pretend company. Okay, and there you'll be able to apply a lot of the things you learn here. So here we're mostly learning theory and practice. There you'll learn application. Class procedures. Since it's an online class, we got to get this down, and it's the first time I've taught this class. It's different from other classes I've taught online, and so we're going to do things differently. It might take you a little while to get used to it, but this is my intent. Okay, so we're going to conduct the class in weekly cycles. Each week will cover one chapter or will contain one exam. In general, for non-exam weeks, the cycle begins on Monday at noon, Central Time. The cycle requires reading the textbook, watching lectures, those are my lectures, taking a quiz, completing cases with an audit team, and discussing cases with other audit teams. Okay. So if you have a question regarding the topics, post them to the discussion board, and I can address some, and students will address others. In a face-to-face class, you'd expect to spend 3 hours in class and 2 hours outside of class for every hour in. So that would be 9 to 10 hours a week. So you ought to plan to spend that kind of time on this class as well. Now, you might get started and say it didn't take me near as long to do chapter 1 and chapter 2. Don't let that become your expectation. Later chapters require more time than will earlier chapters. And in a face-to-face class, I might do more than one chapter in a week. But here we're going to do one chapter per week. So some weeks will require much less than 10 hours. Some weeks will require more. Some students will require less than an average of 10 hours a week, and some students will require more. Okay, so on average, I think a student should commit about 10 hours a week. Some weeks less, some weeks more, but some students will require more than that, and some students less. We'll be giving 3 exams, 2 midterms and a final. The exams will be given online. The multiple choice questions will be from a test bank. And so they'll be administered randomly. So no 2 students will get the same exam. Okay. So you'll get a different random selection of questions and students, the other students in the class. But overall, all the questions from the same test bank. And you'll also have essay questions and short answer questions that I will write for the exams. And some of those will differ as well between students. Okay, so if I have a concept, I might write 3 essay questions that cover that concept. You'll be getting your questions at random. I generally give you a lot of time of which to choose to take the exam, but once you sit down to take the exam is timed. And so it's open book, but you won't have time to look at your book. Okay. So, for example, I may give you any time from Thursday at noon till Saturday at midnight to take the exam. But once you start to sit down to take the exam, you'll have an hour and a half. Again, depending on the length of the exam, but that's for an example, an hour and a half. Okay. So again, it's open book, but in an hour and a half to answer all those questions, you really won't have time to learn them for the first time by reading the textbook. All right, you'll have to work right along. Quizzes. After reading the chapter each week, you'll have a quiz to take, and those quizzes should be done by Tuesday at noon. So if we begin Monday, we read the textbook. Tuesday, we take the quiz. And that quiz again will be from a test bank, and your quiz will be a random selection of questions from that test bank. There are advantages and disadvantages to doing the random selection. If I chose all the questions, you would get only relevant questions, and that's better in some ways. On the other hand, I have no control over how many of you are taking it together. So not that any of you would take it together, but in the history of my classes, I found some students who've done that kind of thing. Or it seems some students have access to test banks and test bank answers. And again, if I give you tons of time to do it, then people have time to go look up all the questions and the answers. And so the quizzes are timed. You'll have a few minutes to do them. You're gonna have to read the quiz question, try your best to answer. Okay. And I think that works well. It allows it to all be online. It allows it to be convenient. And I think it's worked well in the past. Okay, cases. Each week we'll have a case or several cases to solve. Generally, it's several smaller cases that you have to solve. And you're put into teams to solve those cases. And so here's what I expect, is that you will read the case, you'll open up the discussion board for that week's cases for your team, and you'll say, look, I did case 1, and here's what I thought. And then I looked at case, here's what I thought. Another team member will say, well, I read case 1, here's what I thought. I read case 2, here's what I thought, and so on. You'll all put your input in, and you'll go back and forth until you sort of come to some consensus around what you think would be the best answer. And you say, okay, Jill, you write the best answer. And so your last entry on the discussion board for that week, those case questions, that will be your group's submission. And then I will release those to the class, and so the rest of the class can see how you answered your cases, can make some comments on what they think you did. So the case submission is a team effort, and when I do the grading, I will not only grade the team effort, but I'll be able to see all the discussion that preceded it there on the discussion board and know who had input. Then the critique or the answering or the commenting on other teams' cases, that's all individual effort. Each of you will enter the discussion boards and make comments on the other team's cases, and that is an individual effort. And all of that will be graded, okay? The team submission, the individual contribution to the team submission, the comments and other team submissions. All of that goes into your weekly grade for cases, okay? So it's all done on a discussion board, your team's discussion board. I have access to see who made what comments on every discussion board, and I'll use those to do the grading. Now I'm going to assign those teams from the beginning. I believe after each exam I'm going to scramble teams, okay? So you get new teams after each exam. So during the semester you'll have 3 different teams. We have 30 people in the class. I believe we'll run with groups of, say, 5 to 6. And you'll get scrambled up 3 different times and to serve on 3 different audit teams. Okay, which brings us to communication event, another item you'll need to think about. And much of this communication event is because we asked our advisory board several years ago, what would you change about UNK accounting graduates? And it was pretty much consensus they would change our communication skills, and particularly oral communication skills. Now, we're not talking about making presentations. We're talking about being able to walk up to somebody, shake hands, start a conversation, okay? Sit in an interview and answer questions well, ask questions well. So it's really this informal kind of communication they think is going to be important for accounting graduates. And I don't think UNK students were unique in this. I think worldwide we would say the students probably need better communication skills. And we think with our relatively small class sizes and our attention to students, we can improve those kind of things as well or better than anybody. But it requires you to actually get and participate in things. And so every class should have some kind of oral communication component. In this class, it's going to be attendance at events and actually saying hello. So let me read the instruction in our communication event. Students are required to attend 4 events in which they communicate with working professionals. Students are required to write a short report, 1 page, on the event and their interactions with the working professionals. So attending doesn't count. You actually have to meet whoever it is that came, shake hands, say hi, start a conversation, and then you have to write a short paper, 1 page maximum, on your interaction. Okay, not what the event was about, but how you approached the individual, shook hands, started the conversation, how that went. Beta alpha psi meetings count. Those are the accounting fraternity meetings, kind of honor society meetings. You don't have to be a member to attend them, but at UNK you can do it. Now, if you're off-site, if you're in Grand Island or Lincoln or North Carolina, Timbuktu, you're going to have to find some other professional events. Career fair events would count. Nebraska Society of CPAs has meetings. Those count. You need to find 4. 4 events where you have working accounting professionals and where you can shake hands and talk and say hi to them. Okay? If you really have trouble finding that many events because beta alpha psi is outside your working time, then contact me and we'll we'll figure this out for you. Okay. Okay. Grades. Those 3 exams will count 65% of your grade, 20% on cases. So you need to take them seriously. And I think a lot of learning happens on those cases. So it's the exams are good because they're sort of a summary. What did you learn over these last few weeks? But the cases are really good because it's the interactions, the talking, it's laying your ideas out there and have somebody critique them and say, oh, I didn't think of that. And changing your ideas. That's where a lot of learning takes place. So I need you to do that. Quizzes. The quizzes are important because they are a measure of how well you studied the material as you read the chapter in the first case. Communication events, I just want to make sure you do them. Okay, they're worth 5%. Okay, academic dishonesty, don't cheat. I find some almost every semester I find somebody, and I hate it. I hate talking to people. I hate reactions. I hate all the justifications for why you did it or the denials of doing it when I know what happened. Just don't do it. Most of you are working to become accounting professionals. There's two things that make accounting people valuable. Two. We're putting out information, right? People are going to read the information, they can make decisions based on the information we give. Okay. One thing that makes that information valuable is that you are competent. And we're working on your competence here with our classes at UNK. They are up to date. They contain the knowledge that people want you to have, and they're rigorous. We're taking care of that. The second thing is that it's believable because you have integrity. Okay, those two things make it valuable. If you're not smart enough to learn the material, try something else. There's lots of things out in the world that you could do and be great at. If you can't do this, do something else. We got to get the first one down. If you don't have integrity, go somewhere else. Okay, really. There's really no place. Not only is your work become unreliable, nobody cares, but you damage the whole profession. Okay, so just don't do it. I had a group of students a few years ago. They said, Professor Hall, we cheated. What should we do? I said, change your major. They looked at me for a long time. So I'll change your ways, one of the two. But just don't do it. A dishonest accountant is more worthless than anything else I can think of. However, if we follow the policies outlined in the catalog. Okay. And I believe all it allows me to do is give you zeros and everything. I'll just do that. Finals week policy, we'll use the policies specified in the catalog. Your last exam will be in the finals week. If you have disabilities or you are a student that is pregnant, that statement is at the end of the syllabus. Contact our disability office. Get your accommodation and let me know. Okay, that's it. So you'll need to get on Blackboard and see the schedule of things we're going to do. You'll need to get the textbook and read. And this first week, read that textbook, take that quiz, get in and do the little discussion thing. First week is sort of simple, but get in the habit. You got those 3 days, okay? We start on Monday. Tuesday, the quiz is due. Thursday, your group's discussion of the cases should be done. And by Monday, you should have made comments on other groups' discussions, discussion of the cases. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, until you have an exam. We'll do the exam near the end of the week, and then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, here we go again. Get into practice of having all those things ready on time, and you're going to learn a lot, and we're going to have a fun semester. Thanks.